Good evening.
I'm trying to, I'll get it in a moment.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Boykins.
Can't hear you.
How are you? I hear you, Jennifer.
Setting those mics up.
I unmuted my computer.
So like the Costco gas I pull into the any one of the Costco gas.
Just want to remind everyone that the recording is on.
Was it due to price?
Yes. They were at $2.86.
Oh, wow.
Everywhere else was $3.98.
Can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Jennifer?
That's a huge price difference. I pulled up, I'm like, oh my God, what the heck is that? I went to a different one. It wasn't as long, but it was still long.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Can you hear me, Wadia and Valerie?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not sure what's happening in the boardroom. I'm not in the boardroom, but I did send Jennifer a text message because it doesn't look like they're responding to us. And I've called her name twice. I did send Jeff a text message as well.
Okay.
Dr. Boykins, can you hear us?
Now I can hear you, yes.
Okay.
WPSD mics are picking it up for Jen.
Which, how do you want me to do this? Do you want my computer mic on? Okay, that's off, but my Zoom is unmuted.
I can hear you too. I can hear you.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. We'll get started at 6:32.
It should.
Hi, Jeff. Mr. Callahan is saying that he's not authorized. He asked if you could resend the Zoom link for Bill Callahan.
Who can you hear? I can't hear anyone. So I can't hear anyone. Dr. B. Coates, can you say something so I can see if I can
Yes,
hear?
ma'am. Yes.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
If I don't have my sound on my computer, I can't hear. Zoom 2. So we're getting feedback from WPSD Zoom 2. Better now? You guys ready? Josh, Brian, ready? All right, here we go. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for being here.
Is that your laptop up there?
What do you want me to do? My laptop is not muted. If I mute my laptop, I can't hear anything. What people are saying.
That's the feedback.
All right. Good evening, folks. Can you guys hear me?
I can.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna get through this. First, salute to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Ms. Boykins is absent today as well. Mr. Callahan? call, said he was logging on. I'll double back. Miss Bates, Miss Cook Henry, Miss Ivory,
Present.
double back. Miss Richardson,
Present.
Miss Cook Henry, Mr. Tong, Mr. White have to say, and Miss Hoff.
Present.
Miss Richardson, Mr. Tong,
Present.
Mr. White is have to say, and Miss Hoff.
Thank you. First up is Mr. Jamie Doyle from Public Financial Management. Jamie.
Good evening. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Wonderful. And if you'll permit me to screen share, I'm going to put my presentation up on the screen.
The lag is pretty brutal.
So hopefully you can see that. Wonderful. So I come bearing good news. You may recall at your meeting last month that you have a refunding opportunity. And that's of your 2016 A and B bond. We went through the dual track process as authorized. I'm happy to report that interest rates continue to hover near the all-time lows that were set about a year ago, not far off those levels. We received bids from several different banks, and the low-cost bid came from Truist Bank. They bid a 0.83% fixed rate, a $2,500 bank fee. It's prepayable at any time in whole with no penalty. And they didn't have any additional requirements, just your normal continuing disclosure requirements that you're already subject to on your bond issues. So that was all excellent news and a very, very strong bid from Truist Bank. If we go to the next page, you'll see your old 2016 A bonds that we'll be refunding. So we're getting rid of these 2% rates that you see right here. Likewise, on the next page, you'll see your 2016 B bonds that we're refunding. So you're going to get rid of all these interest rates in column 3, which are 2 to 3%. The next page just shows how much we need to pay off the old 2016 A bonds. And right below it, the 2016 B bonds, principal and interest. And then the important page, you can see with the proposed Truist rate, the 0.83% in column 3 now, getting rid of all those old 2 and 3% rates, it generates net savings to the school district of $111,591.87, the bulk of which will be recognized upfront in the current fiscal year, about $110,000 roughly, and then a couple $100 each of the remaining years thereafter. We're not extending the debt at all. It still pays off at exactly the same point in time. And that net savings number, that 111,000, already has the state's share of the savings netted out. The state will benefit by almost $26,000. You can see in that bottom box. And it's also net of the cost of issuance that are detailed on this next page. If you choose to accept this proposal at your voting meeting on the 26th, settlement will occur on September 1. And the rate that will get reported to the IRS, you're effectively refinancing these 2 bond issues at a 0.83%. If you recall my presentation last month, we were looking at about 50,000 of net savings, and the board set a minimum acceptable savings target of 40,000. So I'm very pleased to be able to come back and show you something that is a little more than double what we looked at last month. This next page is just your updated debt portfolio. So you can see the 2016 A and B bond payments go away. And we've now added this column for the series of 2021 to reflect this refunding. And then the last page is just some highlights that I've already covered as far as the timeline goes and the rate. And then the remaining pages are the BB&T Truist proposal itself. So you can see there's their 0.83%. And there was their fee. I just went by it a little bit, the 2,500 that was summarized earlier. And they've already gone ahead and signed this proposal. So if you approve this at your voting meeting next week, you'll countersign this proposal on page 11. So I will pause there. I know that was a lot of information, but I was extremely pleased with the dual track process. This is in fact much better than the bond market would provide in the way of net savings right now. And so we are recommending that you accept the Truist BB&T proposal. And I will stop screen sharing with that and entertain any questions that you have.
Can I get my mortgage rolled into that?
Me too. Sign me up.
Ms. Doyle, how do you equate that with refinancing? Is this on the similar doing as refinancing?
Yep, it's very similar to when you go to refinance your home mortgage. We're just replacing the old higher rates with today's lower rates. We do have a few more hoops to jump through because these are tax exempt instruments. And so the IRS monitors the lower tax exempt rate environment very, very carefully. But it's just like refinancing your home mortgage.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Great question.
We did not hear anything you said, Jennifer, if you were speaking.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it either.
Okay, give us 1 second. Are these mics working? They're not. Okay, so they're not making. All right, let's try that again. Do any other school board directors have any questions? All right, let's try it again. Any other school board directors have any questions? Participants in the Green Avenue boardroom have any questions? Do any participants in the Green Avenue boardroom have any? Do as normal, you can raise your hand, attendees, or you can put it in Q&A. As someone put a link to the, you can raise your hand, Japanese, or you can put it in the Q&A. Can someone put link to our regular agenda? Agenda, please. Okay. So if you thank you, Jeff, Mr. Scott, all right. Next week, in case we come up with $110,000 community relations agenda. A1, school reopening. Okay. A2, ninth grade residence verification. Jeff, Mr. Company, A4, free summer meals for children and teens. A5, registration for the ACT and SAT exam. $110,000 is. Anyone else? Community relations. Do any school directors have any questions on community relations? A2, ninth grade residency verification. A3, registration. Dr. Beatrice is saying that he barely hears you. A4 juncture, we need to turn those off and we'll all turn on our computer. A5 registration for the ACT and SAT exam. Anyone else?
It's like it's a delayed response. So after you give your information, Ms. Hoff,
okay, I'm happy to do so. All right, can everyone hear me now?
yes, we can, and it sounds very
All right,
clear.
thank you. So Dr. Beatrice is saying that he can barely hear me. So at this juncture, we need to turn us off and we'll turn on our computer. Is that okay? Okay. Or do you want to give it a try? I have a tremendous amount of lag. Okay. All right, can everyone hear me? Yes. All right, thank you. How do you guys want me to do this? All right, I'm going to read the community relations agenda again. Can everyone hear me?
Very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. A, community relations agenda. A1, school reopening with school hours. Penwood High School, 7:30 to 2:17 p.m. Penwood Middle School, 8 a.m. to 2:50 p.m. And elementary schools are 8:40 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. A2, ninth grade residency verification. If you're going into ninth grade, please renew your residency. A3, registration for the 2021 school year. A4, free summer meals for children and teens. Free summer meals are served until July 29th at Evans Elementary from 10:30 to 12:30 and Penwood Middle School from 10:30 to 12:30. A5, registration for the ACT and SAT exams. Any questions from the Board of School Board Directors on the community relations agenda? Seeing none, any questions from the public at the Green Avenue Boardroom on the community relations agenda? Yes, Ms.
Yes.
Lewis.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bethia Lewis, parent of Chris Lewis. I was the ninth grade residency verification. Could we please figure a way to place that where it's easy to find? I had to do a little bit of extra research to make sure I found it. And then by the time I found it, then I went and lost the paper, right? So not that, like, can we do some research on like adding it to maybe the beginning of the screen or something, because you have to go in and get the first time registration. Then when you find registration, you think it's registering your kid, then you're not registering your kid, and you go back and then in small writing, it says verification, and you're like, okay, well, you go click on that. So if some more communication to come out with that is more effective, I think that more parents would have gotten it done quicker.
Great, that's super helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the other. thing
Anyone
that I-
else? Any attendees in the Zoom room want to raise their hand with any questions? All right, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Lewis, super helpful. I'm going to read the Education Committee agenda for Ms. Boykins. B1, release and settlement agreement. B2, contract with Panorama Education. And that is to approve a 36-month term contract with Panorama Education effective with the 21-22 school year for an amount not to exceed $174,900. The contract is subject to the district solicitor's review and approval of the form and content. B3, contract with Lakeside Youth Services. A motion is to approve the one-year contract with Lakeside Youth Services for the 21-22 school year for amount not to exceed $95,000. The contract is subject to district solicitor's review and approval of the form and content. B4, agreement with Bayada Home Health Care, Inc. The motion is to approve an agreement between Bayada Home Health, doing business as Bayada Staffing, as indicated above. This agreement is subject to the district solicitor's review and approval of the form and content. B5, an agreement with Delta T Group. Motion to approve a one-year agreement between the William Penn School District, Delta T Group from July 16, 2021 through June 30th, 2022 to provide a registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, and paraprofessional contractor on an as-needed basis as indicated above. This agreement is subject to the district solicitor's review and approval of form and agreement. B6, U.S. Medical Staffing Services, and the motion is to approve the 2021 agreement between the William Penn School District and U.S. Medical Service as indicated above. This agreement is subject to the district solicitor's review and approval of the form and content. Any questions from the school board directors? Dr. Boykins, I do have one question, and is the Lakeside only a portion of until we get the rest worked out?
That is correct.
Thank you.
And we are working on the other portion of the Lakeside agreement.
Thank you, Dr. Boykins. Any questions from school board directors? Any questions from people in the Green Avenue boardroom? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure that these are going, like these services and things like that are definitely going to be enforced, like especially like listening to the kids about their needs and everything like that, like involving mental health. Because in the past, they just really hadn't worried about that, but now during the pandemic, I see that our schools have started kind of worrying about that, but it's really just because of the pandemic. I just want to make sure that's going to be completely enforced because it's very important.
Right.
And especially as a person who's experienced it in the past and not being able to like talk to anyone. And when people say that we are able to, we're actually like misled and not able to. So I just want to be enforced and we're going to get the correct help that we need involving mental health for ourselves.
Dr. B. Coates, did you want to answer to that?
Sure. So that is the purpose of us speaking with Jennifer. Can you mute your computer if it's not muted? All right, thank you. That might help. So the purpose of us having the conversation with Lakeside was to address issues and to help and to assist students when they return to school in September. As was stated in our education committee meeting, we are working with the union to ensure that we can get this support in our school. The union has raised objection to us bringing on support because counselors, as we know them today, may perform some of this work. I think there are some differences with what these individuals would be doing. So right now we are waiting on the union to provide us with feedback as to whether or not they're going to object or grieve us if we move forward with this service to students and staff members. So it is our intent and our goal to move it forward, and we're trying to work with the union on this particular item. Ms. Seward, who is in, I believe, the audience, along with Ms. Schlesinger, are working collectively with the union. There was a meeting today, and there will be another meeting scheduled, I believe it's next week, to ensure that we continue to move this initiative forward.
Thank you, Dr. B. Coates. Any attendees have any questions at this time? All right. Ms. Ivory, can you do personnel, please?
Good evening, everyone. I think, Jennifer, you might have to mute yourself. Thanks. All right. Okay. The superintendent recommends the following personnel actions. C1, resignations. A, professional staff, Ms. Nancy Camarata, kindergarten teacher at Walnut Street Elementary School, effective June 21st, 2021. 2, Sarah Chambers, special education teacher, Evans Elementary School, effective July 29th, 2021. And 3, Jessica P. Coyote, I apologize, grade 1, Ardmore Avenue Elementary School, effective June 21st, 2021. The motion is to accept the resignations as indicated above. And again, we would like to thank those women for their years of service to the school district. C2, appointments. Professional staff, Emily Boganski, library media specialist at Evans Park Lane Elementary Schools. 2, Robin Fedorov, grade 1 teacher at Walnut Street Elementary School. B, support staff, Crystal Baker, building secretary at Park Lane Elementary School. 2, Tiffany Elmore, guidance secretary at Penwood Middle School. C, 2021-2022 secondary supplemental academic for Penwood High School, Green Avenue, department chair for English, Susan Norton. D, summer curriculum writing for 2021-2022 first semester. And the motion is to approve the appointments as indicated above, contingent on receipt of appropriate clearances and physicals as required by law. C3, rescind appointments. The motion is to approve the rescinded appointments, personnel items as indicated above. And let's see. And it looks like that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ivory. Any questions from the school board directors? Any questions from the room in Green Avenue? Any questions from the Zoom attendees? Hearing none. There is no property committee agenda, Mr. Tong, correct?
There are no property committee agenda items.
Thank you, Mr. Tong. Okay, budget and finance, E1, treasurer's report, E2, list of bills, E3, which is the resolution that Ms. Doyle just spoke about, is the resolution for general obligation note, series 2021. I'll read the motion. The Board of School Directors of the William Penn School District. The school district does hereby adopt a resolution in the form presented approving, among other things, the issuance of the school district's general obligation note series of 2021 in the maximum aggregate principal amount of $8,310,000 to provide funds to refund any and all portion of the school district Series A of 2016 bonds and Series B of 2016 bonds, and paying costs of and expenses of the issuing and insuring if appropriate. Any questions on budget from school board directors? Any questions from Republic in Green Avenue admin? Any questions from the participants in Zoom? All right, thank you. Ms. Hopkins is not here, I don't believe, for policy, so I'll read it. F1 is the second reading of the amended policy 916. And that motion is to approve the second reading and adoption of the William Penn School District amended policy 916 and to enter such reading into the minutes. Any questions from the Board of School Board Directors? Ms. Ivory, did you? Nothing? Okay. Any questions from the Green Avenue Administration Room? Any questions from the attendees in Zoom? Yes, Ms. Lewis.
Is there, what specifically was changed in that policy? I remember it. Changed.
Okay, Ms. Stewart?
Can everybody hear me first of all? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay. The wording was clarified to define what a volunteer is. In terms of our district, there's long-term and short-term, and then to define what it is to be a long-term volunteer and to be a short-term volunteer. We cleaned up some language around what clearances would be needed for a long-term volunteer because they would be around students, and what does that mean to be around students, as well as the process, clearing up the process of long-term volunteers for it to go through our HR department, so that there is a structure and accountability around who is a volunteer and who is around our students and what does that process look like. Along with it, we took a lot of the procedural language that was in the policy and made it an actual procedure so that we can keep it up to date with time, but the policy itself, the spirit of what we want to have is concrete and up to date with PSBA's suggested language.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Not a problem.
And Ms. Stewart, is that on the website?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you want to, Mr. All right.
Jennifer, you're muted.
Sorry about that.
That's all
Let's try
right.
again. This is new business is for PSBA School Leadership Conference, Pocono Manor, Pennsylvania, September 27th to the 29th. The motion is to approve the attendance at the PSBA School Leadership Conference as indicated above for Ms. Hoff, Ms. Hopkins, and Ms. Cook Henry. Any questions from school board directors? Any questions from the public in the Green Avenue Administration boardroom? Any questions from attendees in the Zoom room? All right. That's it, correct, Mr. Coe? All right. Have a great week. Make it a successful week. Yes, Ms. Lewis.
Non-agenda items.
Okay, sorry. Non-agenda item?
Yes, so, two things. Number one, do we have an approved vendor list? I wanted to clarify that. So next year, as we transition into our new school year, and we're doing things like buying t-shirts, we're buying signs, we're doing all these different things for our kids. Do we have a list of people we have to choose from, or are we going to continue to use whoever it is that we can get?
We shop around. If we find a vendor, we'll use vendors that we can in the past. If we find other vendors that have better prices or better resources, we will also explore the options.
Okay, thank you. I'm just curious because I just want to make sure that we are not using vendors that's not appropriate for us to use. So that's why I asked that question. And then the second thing is, how many parents are allowed interviews? I participated in the past in interviews here in the Penn School District with whoever was going to be at my daughter's school, and this year it's not the same. So is there a certain amount of parents that are allowed to, I mean, even if we don't document, even if we just sit and watch the interviews, is there a certain amount of parents that's allowed to?
Yep, so I can answer that. So in our hiring process, it does outline for certain positions that will have parent and student involvement and engagement in the process. There's not a specific number of parents or students. So it's definitely something we can consider moving forward.
Okay, because I did ask to be on interviews because it's my kid's school. So, and I'm also still, as we talked about last year, still concerned about our hiring. Like, what's our plan for our hiring? Are we really like focusing on the equity? And we didn't have that opportunity. So I wanted this year to, it's in our strategic plan. I'm like, I follow rules. So it's in our strategic plan. I wanted us to have the opportunity to participate. And maybe in future interviews, we can participate.
That's definitely open to talking through that. I would love to have you involved as we look into our process for.
Should we just email you?
Sure, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Of course.
And I'm sorry, Ms. Huff.
Share the document we created process.
Yep, absolutely.
Under all three.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right.
No, I was just going to say that we have been following the process that's been outlined, and parents have been a part of all of the principal interviews that we've held thus far.
Thank you, Dr. Boykins. Okay. Anyone else with on-agenda items? All right, hearing none. We can adjourn. And we'll see you next Monday. Have a successful week. Thank you.